All right, so we're looking at chapter 4 of our third unit, and we're going to look at what we call transformational grammar. And we're going to take a look at what we call today the sentence types. I'm going to break this down into 3 short videos about the 3 different types of sentences I want you to learn, particularly the third one. All right, and then we'll take a look at our worksheet along the way as well. All right, so every sentence we've done so far are declarative sentences, and a declarative sentence is basically a straightforward sentence, like where the subject's first and the verb is second. And so all 10 of our patterns we've learned so far are what we call declarative. Nothing groundbreaking there. But what we can do is we can take each of those declarative sentences and we can transform them into a different type of sentence, and that gives us the 3 other types of sentences: the interrogative, the imperative, and the exclamatory. If you remember nothing else from this series of amazing videos, I want you to really focus on the exclamatory sentence. But I don't want to disparage the other 2, so let's take a look at those other 2 as well. Let's begin with the interrogative. So an interrogative is basically a fancy way of saying it's a question. So we have questions. And so there are 2 different types of questions we have in the English language. We have yes-no questions like, may I go with you? Or have you been reading my book? And so when we take those, we realize that the verb, if I look here, the verb came first and then there was a subject. Here's a verb, and then there was a subject. So what we're going to do is we're going to transform the sentence back. That's why we call it transformational grammar. We're going to transform the sentence back to its regular declarative form. So everything we look at in chapter 4 is in a weird order, and we've got to transform it back to its regular order. So may I go with you turns into I may go with you. Have you been reading my book turns into you have been reading my book. One thing I want you to notice then is what we transform it back, I want to keep the M is capitalized because that's what it was originally. I want to keep the H capitalized because that's what it was originally. And that's going to be really important when we diagram it. The other type of sentence that we have is a WH question. Or WH questions like, where is dad going? Or whose car are you taking? Or which brand is cheapest? Well, once again, it's in a weird order. When I switch it or transform it back, I could say, dad is going where? Or you are taking whose car? Or which brand is cheapest? Just kind of deflating because that's the same sentence, but sometimes you just can't transform it. The way it is originally is the way it actually still is. So these are what we call the interrogatives. Let me change my screen and diagram one of these together with you from your worksheet. Yeah, I don't need that. Let's discard that. And let's take number 1 together, everybody. It says, where have all my video games gone? Let's transform this back into a diagram. So in our white space, let's diagram this one together. And so if you need to, you can write out the sentence, but I think you're all smart enough to realize what the sentence is really saying in its declarative form. Meaning what you're really saying is, all my video games, verb, have gone, adverb where. So my subject is games. I'd say all games, my games, video games. My verb is have gone. And my adverb is where. The only thing I really want you to make sure you do is capitalize that W in the word where. It's the only way of really knowing that that word is the beginning of the sentence. We don't add a question or anything like that, but this is how we build this. This is a nice little pattern 6 because it has an action verb and a subject, but there's no direct object. And so this is our very traditional sort of interrogative sentence. Pretty easy. I'm going to pause my video and restart and take a look at imperative sentences.